In this video, I will be using Snap to explain how variables work in coding. So the purpose of this program is to draw a triangle, a square, and a pentagon. So the purpose of variables here is to define parameters. In this case, they would be the number of sides and the side lengths. So variables here are basically placeholders for pieces of information that can change. So instead of typing out each time how much the sides are, I can just use these as kind of like little shortcuts. So you set the number of sides to 3 and set the side length to 80 to make the triangle. And then instead of retyping that part there to define it every time, you can just type in number of sides and it'll know which variable amounts you're referring to. So here is a playthrough of the drawing. So see, it drew the triangle, and now the arrow is drawing the square and the pentagon. So a more specific walkthrough step by step would be sets the number of sides to 3 and sets the side lengths to 80. So those are the variables being defined. And then for the repeat block, it's going to repeat it the number of sides. So since the triangle is 3 times, it's going to draw the 3 side lengths, and it knows that the side lengths are 80 units because that has been defined by the variable block up here. And then it also knows the number of degrees that needs to be turned, because you would just divide 360 divided by the number of sides to get the degrees turned. And then it waits 1 second, and then it knows to add 30 steps to move over to where the square will be drawn, and it changes the hue to make it green. And then it knows the number of side lengths to turn. Like, for example, the square would be 360 degrees, and it would know to divide that into 4 so that it turns 90 degrees each time. So and then finally it moves over another 50 steps to make the pentagon, which is 5 sides, and it knows that it'll need to turn 72 degrees each time. And yeah, so the difference between variables here and versus math is that these are basically placeholders that are subject to change. So we know that each time we're changing the number of sides and the side lengths, but we have these little boxes here that define those values. Versus in algebra, you would have an x, y, or z value. That would represent a specific value. But in this case, we have different values that we manipulate, but we have the same categorical organization. So it's more like parameters. Thanks for watching.